What's your name?
Oh, George Torres.
The next question is about healthcare workers and how they can improve their practice. How do you how do you think that healthcare workers can improve delivering value?
Uh, I wouldn't know about that. Not sure. I think they do a pretty fair job as it is.
What are the most common rehabilitation goals you see around here?
It seems to be um, emotion therapy and aqua aerobics. Aqua aerobics.
Did you say emotion therapy or motion?
Motion therapy.
Motion, okay.
Yeah.
You like mobility,
Yeah.
gaining mobility.
Right.
Yeah. What are primary threats for people? Like, what is a big challenge for people to meet their mobility goals?
Uh, some people do it for a period of time, and then if they don't achieve their mobility within a certain number of weeks, they kind of give up on themselves. They don't carry on. They don't. You know, we've already had a few people that dropped out. So
So it could be a motivational issue, possibly.
right.
1 in 3 patients feel like social interactions are transactional. For example, a lot of people have caregivers, or they pay to go see a doctor, they pay to see a physical therapist, and they're paying for all these interactions with people.
Right.
Do you have any advice for medical professionals to make it feel less transactional when clients see them?
Uh, I think that they should be more genial with the clients and not so rigid in doing things. Be a little more open to ideas and techniques and things like that, and not be so professional. People, you know, because sometimes they're really stiff and not particularly forthcoming with their clients, and sometimes the clients think that their professionals that are supposed to be helping them out aren't there to, don't have their best interests at heart, don't have their best. So,
You mentioned that mobility complications are a problem in our community.
yes, definitely.
What problems do you see that there's not a solution for?
Well, it seems that there doesn't seem to be any way to rectify people who have cerebral palsy, for example. Um, they seem to have a difficult time getting around, and they don't seem to have any solution to that. They don't seem to have any. People with cerebral palsy seem to suffer quite a bit.
So people,
They're heavily dependent on their caregivers or their parents or whatever, and they don't. Yeah, I mean, you would think just put them in a chair or some device and wheel them around, instead of making them walk, which is not really the best thing for them, because their mobility is severely limited. Their mobility is severe. But for some reason they don't do that. For some reason they don't do that.
at the moment, about 50% of healthcare professional patients are following their prescribed treatment plans.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Right. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas of how that number can be improved?
Not.
Okay, that's cool. Based on your experience,
Maybe they could. I think they would have more clients for things like the aqua aerobics and the swimming and the weight room and so forth, and the yoga and all that. I think the prices that they make people pay are too high. They should lower it a little bit. They should lower. You know, I mean, if you wanna, if people want to use the pool, they gotta pay $65, and that's kind of steep, you know. And then if you want to use the weight room, that's an additional $25 or $30. That's an additional, you know. And it's too bad here at Tiffany Center you don't pay for your membership in general, and then everything that Tiffany Center has to offer would just be yours at your disposal. And sadly, they don't do it that way. They don't do it that way. I think if they did, more people would come in. More people would, you know. So it's a little too exclusive. It's a little too, you know, the older generation, the original OGs, can afford it, but for people who are living on a tighter financial budget, it's just not feasible. It's just not. You know, I've already noticed a few people that I met earlier this year. I haven't seen them in months because I think that the prices are just a little too high, and they gave it up. They kind of bailed. You know, so.
what would you say is the missing piece to improve the wellness outcomes for our community?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer. I'm sorry.
What if a private grant covered some funding? Like what if a private grant covered 20 sessions of robotic training, or covered like a membership for people who can't afford it?
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
It'd be nice if they did that more often. It'd be nice if they did.
What if a private grant covered 20 sessions of robotic therapy for people to learn how to walk again?
That would be phenomenal. That would be great. Yeah.
What do you think of that?
That would be the most welcoming solution if they did that. That would be a wonderful thing to achieve. You know, some people can't pay for it. Robotic therapy, they can, but they can't afford it in the long term. They can only afford it for a limited time. They can only afford it. But it'd be nice if somebody came out with a grant and said, hey, we'll pay for your therapy, we'll pay for your mobility, you know, therapy. All you gotta do is give us $30, you know, something like that. I think so.
In your experience, are financial constraints a main barrier for ongoing rehabilitation?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah. It seems the more expensive the prices are, the less people that actually join. The less people that actually. This is what's afflicted the Tiffany Center. It's what's afflicted in other places like the YMCA, like the YM. You know.
Once people,
I think if it was more affordable, more people would join it. You know, and unfortunately, that's not how they do it. That's not how they. Go ahead. Sorry.
once people are discharged from the hospital or insurance quits paying for rehab, people don't really have a place to turn. Do you think ongoing recovery after discharge is a critical piece missing in our community?
Most definitely. Absolutely. It's a shame, you know, that there seems to be a limit for the care of that nature. And they don't seem to know how to go about rectifying it's not very simple to a lot of people, because when you have services suddenly cut out from you, a lot of people don't know how to go about rectifying that situation. They fall into despair. And they don't seem to have another solution to that problem. They don't seem to have. I don't think these services should be cut in the first place. That's a mistake. That's a mistake.
On a scale 1 through 10, how important is access for grants to specialized walking or gait training in our community?
Scale 1 to 10, it should be a 10. It should. Yeah.
On a scale 1 through 10, how vital is funding once insurance stops paying in our community?
Oh, I think it should be a 10 also. It should be. I think funding should never be cut. It should be paid for in some way that is beneficial to the benefactor and to the client. Go ahead. Sorry.
On a scale 1 through 10, how vital is it for people's well-being, for having access to funding to just ongoing health and wellness if they can't afford it?
It's a 10, my book. Yeah, they should go about making it affordable for people who come to the center to have access to these wonderful things. The Tai Chi, alpha aerobics, the motion therapy, the pooling, the weight room, the yoga, all that comes with a package. It's too bad though that you just can't pay for a membership and have those services available to you as a result of being a member of the Tiffany Center rather than paying for the services individually. I think that's what gets a lot of people, that's what keeps a lot of people from joining the Tiffany Center long term. I think that's what keeps.
Earlier you mentioned that the lack of motivation to continue in their rehabilitation is a problem.
Yes.
It's reoccurring. Do you have any strategies to help clients stay committed in their treatment plans?
Strategies, I wouldn't know, but you just have to level with them and tell them to do it. Or this, if you keep this up, you will improve, you will get better. You just have to keep at it in the long term. It's not going to happen right away, but you will reach your goal in a certain period of time. You will be, ultimately, if you stick with it. What you get out of it is what you put into it, what you get out of it.
Sorry.
I guess try to be like a motivational speaker, if that makes any sense.
What do you know now that you wish you knew on the first day of your personal journey?
I wish I had known of all the services that the Tiffany Center offers, because I would have signed up for more. I do strictly the pool and the weight room, and that's it. I mean, they are doing other things, other services, but I can't afford it. Unfortunately, it's not open to me. It's not open. I wish I had known beforehand. I would have selected for example, I would have signed up for the yoga, I would have signed up for the aqua aerobics. And I didn't do that. Now it's too late.
What do you have to say to other survivors who who are feeling discouraged and want to give up in their recovery?
Please don't give up in recovery, because that's the worst thing you can do, especially when you're here initially to get better and show slight signs of improvement. You should keep going. You should stick with it and be aware that your goal, personal goal of recovery, is going to take a while. It's not going to happen right away. You have to stick with it. Just keep doing it. And be satisfied with the little gains at first, but those little gains will grow in time.
Do you have a relationship with God?
Do I believe in the Lord Almighty? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Can you share an example of how you've seen God's work in your life?
Well, I was walking home late at night and my bags were extremely heavy and I was getting tired carrying them. I was thinking to myself, God, it'd be nice to have a shopping cart right about now. So I could just walk along. And lo and behold, when I got to within a mile of where I live, a shopping cart just magically appeared on the sidewalk. Put my bags in there, and I walked them home, transported them home in that fashion. And it's true what you say, if you pray to the Lord, He will provide. We pray. It was too coincidental for me to just be a coincidence. It happened after I made a silent prayer, sincere prayer.
The average cost of specialized rehabilitation is around $130 per hour, but the average fixed income for people in our community is around $700 a month. What does that math look like to you?
That means $700 a month, and it's $130 for the sessions for recovery. That means they can only afford it realistically for a 5-month period of time. And that's not enough. That's not enough. That means they prove. And there must be a way to rectify that. There must be a way to like I said before, maybe they should, Technique Center should consider lowering the price. They should cut it in half to $65 or even $35. Then it wouldn't, for various members, it wouldn't take such a chunk out of their wallet to pay the therapy, to pay for all the services that the Tiffany Center provides. And I wish I had known about the Tiffany Center sooner. I would have joined sooner. I joined a little late. I wish I had joined earlier. I wish I had joined earlier. Could have experienced what the Tiffany Center was like in its glory, in its glory.
People on disability often get food assistance, and they can afford roughly $7 a day for food. If you had to choose between your daily food budget and a single hour of physical therapy, what would that choice feel like to you?
Oh my God. You mean like if I had to choose between food intake
and surviving and getting better?
I could always do that at a later date, but I have to survive. I can't. Therapy itself will nourish my mind, but it won't nourish my body. It won't nourish. as far as paying for food and all that, I know some people do it with EBT, but EBT sadly is not available in all places. Some places will take it, and others, for whatever reason, refuse it. They don't accept it. They don't. I don't know, and I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure why. This is a wonderful conversation.
Research shows that 87% of people support businesses that care. If a local company sponsored wellness initiatives in our community, specifically helping our underserved community members,
Right.
would you support them more
Absolutely.
than other businesses?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you explain a little bit? Would you be willing to spend more at those businesses who demonstrated social responsibility in our community?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
What are the most common rehabilitation goals you see in our community?
Let's see. I thought we covered that, but mobility, and it seems getting from one place to another in one piece. Some of our members here at Tiffany said that I know personally require an ETA to pick them up and move them around, and sometimes that doesn't. Sometimes for whatever reason, that service doesn't always come through. Sometimes they're late picking up clients for the
Can you share a success example that you've seen of someone else's rehabilitation and transformation in their health and wellness?
other than yourself?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely was not in a good place before I began diligently swimming and exercising and gained a lot of weight, didn't have much energy to do anything. And at one point when I was diligently swimming and exercising, my weight dropped from a high of 251 pounds, and at one point in my life I weighed 174 pounds. So I dropped 77 pounds. So I dropped some, which is phenomenal. And then here at Tiffany Center, I gained some of that weight back, but I recently lost another 12 pounds of weight. I have more energy, I feel more confident about myself, I can do more for myself. And I owe all that to swimming and lifting and working out in the weight room and just having the good graces of services here at the Tiffany Center at my disposal. And then of course the associates, the people, the various employees, and even the fellow members that you meet day to day are so upbeat and so polite. It just makes it, the whole environment, more welcoming, and that's what you need, and that's.
Can you share an example of someone's recovery that stalled because of a lack of resources in our community?
I mean, some members, Lucy, I don't know her last name, I haven't seen her in several months. She was doing well for a moment here at the Tiffany Center, and then for some reason she just disappeared. And I haven't seen her in over a year. I haven't seen her. And it was too bad because she was doing well at the time. She was on her way to getting back to the way she used to be. And then, excuse me. Oh, yeah, come in.
Hey, Dennis. What's up?
Genius at work.
I guess.
I camera action.
Yeah.
Oh, you're being interviewed.
Yep. I'll interview you next. Nope. All
Quite easily.
right, cool. Sounds good. I like your scooter. Yeah. Could specialized robotics and gait training help someone's walking goals and mobility?
Absolutely, I think it would. If it was applied correctly and discreetly.
Knowing that this technology exists elsewhere in California, how does it feel that it is not available in our community?
I think it's a shame that we're being shortchanged, that we're being denied those kind of services, that kind of technology. Even the fact that we don't have that here at Tiffany Center, that you don't have. We should have it, but we don't. We should have it, but we don't. And for some reason, it's not available, which is perplexing.
Before we conclude this interview, is there anything you would like to share to anyone watching this, whether it's other interns, city officials, or business leaders in our community?
I'm stumped on that one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I tried. This kind of thing is new to me. This kind of thing.
All right, well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Come as you are, like that, on the back of your phone.